Hi, I'm Ishan Kumar, a sports and wildlife photographer based in Singapore from India. And as many of you might know, I photographed the Singapore Tour de France Criterium a couple of weeks ago. I think it was a great experience and I captured some phenomenal shots at the event. And today I'll be walking you through how I captured and edited one of my favorite shots. So, this shot, as you can tell, is of the riders and it's shot from a really low angle. I think I was really drawn to this composition because of my background in wildlife photography. Shooting from a super low angle is really common in wildlife, and in fact, it is the optimal thing to do if you're shooting wildlife. And I think applying that to sport in multiple different events in the past, and specifically this event, was incredibly helpful to me. So the idea behind this image was to, one, give the photograph a sense of place. So I achieved that by including this building in the background. It's pretty iconic of Singapore. Well, not iconic, but it's apparent that it's Singapore, and the shot, because of the presence of the building, it's obvious that the shot could not have been taken anywhere else, and it gives it a sense of location. In addition, I think another goal that I had in going into composing and taking this shot was to really make the riders seem larger than life, because all of them have such big personalities, and I think the super low angle that is shot with really emphasizes their importance in the cycling space and at the event. So now I'm going to I'm going to tell you how I shot this image. So at the event, the whole track was barricaded, which made it really tough to get really nice angles without too much interference and stuff from the barricades and the barriers. So what I did was, as you can see, there are a bunch of barriers in the back, and that's how it was on my side as well. So what I did was I shot from the gap underneath the barriers, pointing my camera slightly up. So now I'm going to walk you through how I edited this image and my camera settings. So what I did was I made a virtual copy. That's right here. Now I'm going to walk you through my editing process. So I shot this image at ISO 160. It was really sunny outside, so I was able to keep my ISO really low, which was quite good. At 27 mm, which is actually pretty unusual for me, as my style mostly uses the 200-600 lens for wildlife and most other sports. But for this one I decided to go slightly wider because experimenting with wide angle photography was something I've been wanting to do for a while, and cycling photography offered the perfect opportunity to do it. In addition, I have shot it at f2.8 and 1:8,000 of a second. I was able to keep a really high shutter speed and low ISO, which was perfect. The only thing that wasn't perfect was the light angle. As you can see, the light angle was coming from the top left hand corner and was behind the riders, which made it backlit and really suboptimal for me as a photographer, as you can tell, because the image right now, it's pretty bad. But because I shot this in RAW and a very high quality of RAW, I was able to save the image, for lack of a better word, and really make it one of my favorite images of the whole event. So how I edited this image was, I do this for every image. I start in the basic settings, because this will be the foundation for your editing. So, and especially in an image like this that requires super heavy editing, a lot of it should be done in the basic settings because it needs to apply to the whole picture. So what I did here was I want to increase the exposure on the rhinos, right? So I will increase the exposure, and let's see what looks good. So this is still a bit dark. So now you can either get it out over here, but the rhinos is still pretty dark, and now the sky is blown out. So I think I'll take it back a little bit. And the thing is, I don't need to do everything in this one exposure setting because I have the other basic settings as well. So I think I'm going to leave it around 0.6 of stuff. Now the sky is really blown out, so I think I might benefit from taking down the highlights a significant amount. This will need to be pretty drastic, more than, because I really need to recover this bit of the image, top left hand corner. So like even 80 doesn't do it. Usually I don't edit images so much, but I think this time I'm going to do. So I think I'll leave that at 100. It's a bit more than ideal, but yeah. Now because of that, the lights in the building, the clouds are a bit dull. So I think I'll raise the lights a bit. And the shadows as well with the riders. Now the front rider is really blown out. So back riders a little bit. So I'll see if I can get a little bit of that detail and depth of color back by adjusting the blacks. So I think I'll leave that about 26 looks good, and I'll edit him later in another future step. So now another thing that I do to all my sports images is texture and clarity. I think it makes the photograph really pop. And you don't need to do this too drastically to all of your images, but I'd really recommend trying it out at least. So I think I'll do 17 and like 20. It just makes the details a little bit sharper and gives it like that sense of like speed and like action. So that's most of my so I think the colors in this are pretty good. I don't need to like increase the vibrance or saturation. What I did do was I increased the tint to slightly pink, because when the image was like at 0, as you can tell, it has a slightly green hue. Now this can happen for a number of reasons that I'm not really going to go into, but you can easily correct this with the tint slider. So I'm going to get this up to 16, which is what I had it earlier, and it gives it a nice neutral shading to work on. Now that you can see the riders, after this, what I did was I cropped the image, and this was like the original composition, but what I did do was in the composition it had this barrier that was kind of infringing on the image and distracting from the subjects. So I cropped that out, and this lines up nicely with the rule of thirds, I think, that all of the power points are on or around the riders. And honestly, these rules are more like suggestions, and they're good like guiding points, but you don't need to like stick to them 100%. Now let's move on to the last step, which is masking. So I prepared the masks before this video. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 masks. Again, this is on the heavier side of editing because of the suboptimal lighting conditions that I started with and shot this image in. Anyway, let's go ahead. The first one I made was this radial gradient from the top left hand corner. Again, this is to compensate because it's coming from that side. So here I'm going to reduce the whites because I really want to recover this cloud right here. And then, Then here I focus on this area, which is really where the brightest light was, and I'm gonna decrease the exposure on that a bit, about less than the top, but about 0.44. I think I can decrease the highlights as well. Yeah, that looks about good. Now let's move on to the sky. Here again, we'll decrease the highlights. Decrease the exposure a little bit. That's a bit much. And I'll add some clarity to give the clouds slightly more definition. Yeah, I think that's good. Now what we'll do is we'll work on this guy in the front. So what I want to do on this is kind of like, it looks really flat because of the light. It looks really flat because of the light. I'm still editing the guy. I just hit the mask. So what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to increase the contrast. Because that's honestly the easiest way to correct an image that's looking super boring and like lacking much variation in color. And finally, I have a little mask on his face. Again, as you can see here, it's looking super, not light, but like overexposed. And then here again, I'm going to raise the shadows a bit. Okay, yeah. This is what it looks like without the masking. This is with. And without the basic settings. And there we go. That's how I edited this photograph. Thank you.